life map, an existential atlas. And honestly, atlas is the perfect word for it.
It is.
This is not a list of hacks. It's a visual framework, a whole series of maps, really designed to explain why conscious, aware people still burn out.
And that first slide, it just sets the tone immediately. It's this beautiful kind of vintage-style compass rose over a topographic map.
You can see the terrain, the lines.
But then there are these angry red zones just splattered across it, labeled burnout.
And it asks that big question right there. Why do conscious people burn out, and why the map you're using might be wrong?
That visual alone is doing so much work.
It is. It's telling you right away this is a navigation issue. You can have a perfect compass, but if your map doesn't show the cliff you're walking toward,
you're going to fall. It doesn't matter how good you are at walking.
That's it.
Which is, I mean, it's a terrifying thought, but also weirdly relieving. It sort of shifts the blame from the hiker to the map.
It does. So let's walk through this atlas. It's sequential. We'll start where they start with the problem. Slide 2, when the old map fails.
And the contrast here is just, it's brutal. On the left, the old map. It's a clean golden arrow pointing straight up.
Yeah, the linear path, the equation we all got sold.
Yeah.
Awareness plus hard work equals power and success. A straight line.
Up and to the right. But on the right side, labeled the reality, it looks like a toddler got a crayon. It's this tangled, chaotic blue squiggle.
It loops back and knots up.
And it ends at a battery icon that's just flashing red.
Yeah, that squiggle. That is the modern condition. The text frames this as a paradox. We live in the age of high consciousness.
Right. We have therapy, mindfulness apps, all the wisdom of the ages in our pockets. We know more than any generation before us.
But the battery is empty.
The battery is empty.
The old map says if you have meaning and you have awareness, you should be powerful. But the reality is you can have both in spades and still end up in what it calls existential exhaustion.
That phrase, existential exhaustion, really hit me. And the source makes this bold claim. This is not a failure of character. It is a failure of the map.
And that is the absolute key to this whole thing. We crash and we immediately internalize it. I'm weak. I'm lazy.
Right.
This says no.
Yeah.
You're trying to navigate a complex, squiggly reality with a map made for a straight line. The terrain has changed.
So if that map is broken, what's the replacement? The next image, slide 3, gives us the architecture, a framework, not a verdict.
And it's a sketch of this huge suspension bridge connecting two pillars.
It's a great visual.
It is, because it's showing the philosophical gap this tool is trying to fill. Yeah. On one side, you have the pillar of deterministic science.
You're just a bag of meat and electricity view.
Exactly. Genes, chemicals, neurons. That's it. And on the other side, abstract spirituality.
Which can sometimes get a little vague, a little ungrounded.
It can. The just manifested crowd. And the problem is neither of those extremes really captures the full human experience. Science ignores meaning, and that abstract spirituality can ignore the harsh reality of, biology. The life map claims to be the bridge between them.
But there's a really crucial disclaimer on this slide. It says what this map is not.
Oh, this is so important.
Not a personality test, not a moral judgment tool, not a fixed identity label.
Yes, because we love to grade ourselves, don't we?
Yeah.
Am I an A+ at life? This map just refuses to give you a grade. It gives you coordinates.
It tells you where you're standing, not what you're worth.
That's it, exactly.
Okay, let's get into those coordinates. This is the engine of the whole thing. Slide 4, the internal coordinates.
Yeah, it's a 3D graph, X, Y, and Z axis. It looks a little like high school math class.
All bit, yeah.
But this is what separates it from, standard wellness advice. It forces you to tease things apart instead of just lumping everything into I feel good or I feel bad.
So let's start with the x-axis. That's variable x, meaning the question is, where is life directed?
And the source gives 3 levels. Level 1 is reactive or survival. This is when your life is all about immediate safety, food, shelter,
Just getting by. And level 2.
That's ambition, role, and self-validation. This is where you're building an identity. I am a lawyer. I am a parent. I'm successful.
The ego building phase.
Right. And then level 3 is transpersonal.
Beyond the self.
Exactly. Your life is directed towards something that doesn't just benefit you personally, a cause, a community, some higher truth.
Now, I can already hear people thinking, okay, so level 3 is obviously better than level 1.
And the crucial note at the bottom of the slide just screams, no, these are orientations. They're not scores.
It's not a video game.
Not at all. If you're in a war zone trying to survive, you're at X11. That doesn't make you worse than a philanthropist at X3. It just means your compass is pointing in a different direction out of pure necessity.
Got it. Okay, so that's the horizontal. Now we go vertical. Variable Y, consciousness. How clearly do I see?
Now, this one's tricky. People immediately think IQ. It's not about being book smart. It's about self-perception. Do you understand why you're doing what you're doing?
So you could be a genius with a high IQ, but actually have low consciousness.
Absolutely. Think of the classic evil genius in a movie. Incredibly smart, can build anything, but totally unaware of the harm they cause or the real motivation behind it all.
So they see the how, but they're blind to the why.
Precisely. High IQ, low Y.
And finally, the Z-axis, the depth. Variable Z is energy. What is my capacity to act?
This is your battery, your vitality, your courage, the literal fuel in your tank.
Yeah.
And this is the variable that changes everything.
How so?
Because you can have high meaning, you want to save the world, and high consciousness. You see exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
But if your Z is at 0, you're not going anywhere.
That's the paralyzed idealist. They see it all, they care so much, but they are just stuck on the couch.
Yes. And they usually beat themselves up for it. They think they lack meaning or faith, but really they just lack Z. It's a mechanical failure, not a spiritual one.
Which leads us perfectly into what was, for me, the biggest aha moment in this whole thing.
I think I know where you're going.
We've been talking X, Y, and Z all internal, but slide 5 introduces the external variable, S.
The system.
The visual is 3 boxes, each with a little person inside. The first one, S1, is labeled toxic, and it just looks painful. The box is jagged like broken glass.
And the person inside is hunched over trying to protect themselves.
Yep.
S1 is a repressive, energy-draining environment.
Yeah.
An abusive relationship, a toxic job, a war zone.
It literally feeds on your energy.
It demands you compromise yourself just to survive in it.
Then there's S2, neutral, just a plain gray box.
Functional but stagnant. The cubicle job that pays the bills but numbs your soul. It won't kill you, but it won't grow you either.
And finally, S3, healthy. This one looks like a greenhouse. It's open, light is streaming in.
Yes, an S3 system is protective. It amplifies your energy. It allows your meaning and consciousness to flourish. It's a space where you can actually thrive.
And here is the sentence that I think everybody needs to hear. The text says, "We often blame our internal Z, our laziness, our weakness, for what is actually an epistemic problem."
That's the quote of the day. Your burnout may not be a flaw in your soul, but a feature of your system.
Wow. I mean, how many times have we told ourselves, I just need more discipline, when really we're standing inside a box of jagged glass?
You cannot meditate your way out of an S1 system. You can't use a breathing exercise to fix a toxic boss. If you don't recognize the box, you'll spend your whole life trying to fix yourself.
And that relationship between the person and the box gets spelled out in the next slide, the golden rule of life map.
Right. It uses that physics metaphor. A prism.
We see a beam of light that's meaning and consciousness, X and Y, and it hits a prism, which is the system.
And the prism scatters that light into the output, which is energy, Z.
And the rule is, the system S can break energy Z, but it cannot steal meaning X or consciousness Y.
This is such a profound distinction. The world can drain your battery. It can take your health, your money, your freedom. That's all Z.
But it can't touch your truth.
It cannot take your X or your Y unless you hand them over.
So you can be completely wrecked by the world, just exhausted and broke, but still be whole in your spirit.
Exactly. And that brings us to the case study on the next slide. The martyr.
This one really hit me hard. On the left, we've got someone with the coordinates 333.
Top of their game. High meaning, high consciousness, high energy.
But then an arrow shows them entering an S1 toxic system.
Think of a doctor entering a plague zone with no gear, or a whistleblower in a corrupt corporation.
And on the right, the result is a circle that's cracking apart. Their coordinates change to 331.
Meaning is still a 3. Consciousness is still a 3. But their energy, their Z, has flatlined to 1.
In our culture, we look at that person, the one who's burnt out and exhausted, and we say, oh, they failed. Or in spiritual circles, maybe they have low vibration.
I cannot stand that low vibration idea. It's just victim blaming.
It is.
And this map is a defense against that. It says, no, this person is not a failure. This is a structural collision. The martyr is proof of the golden rule. They kept their meaning even as the system crushed their energy. It restores so much dignity to suffering.
It separates the mechanics from the spirit. That's huge.
So huge.
Okay, so we have the variables, we have the system. Now the atlas zooms in on us, the travelers. It breaks people into 3 groups based on that x-axis.
Right, based on what drives them. Slide 8 is Group A, the struggle for meaning, X1. The visual is a compass just spinning in a circle, repetition and reaction.
So these are profiles 111 up to 133. Life here is reactive. Energy is just used to respond to whatever's happening.
It's survival mode.
Yeah.
And again, no judgment. A lot of people start here or they return here when life hits them hard. But there's a specific trap mentioned for the 133 person in this group.
Active but random.
Yes. This is the hustle culture hamster wheel. You have high energy, you're smart, but you have no real directional meaning.
So you're just spinning. You're busy, but you're not going anywhere.
It's motion without direction. And it's important to remember, X1 isn't bad. It's a phase. If you're struggling to pay rent, you are next as one. Your task is survival, not finding a transpersonal legacy.
Right. Okay, moving to slide 9. Group B, the tension of becoming, X2. The visual now is a spiral staircase, ascent effort.
So now we're looking at profiles 211 to 233. This is the birth of ambition.
Yeah.
Your meaning is tied to your achievements, your role, social validation. This is where most of the professional world lives.
But the text warns this is where most modern burnout happens. The friction between ego and reality.
And there's a specific danger here called systemic risk. If you're an X-2 person, so your meaning is your job title, and you're in a toxic S1 system, you are in danger of becoming a technocrat.
Technocrat? What's that?
It's someone who sacrifices their values to maintain their position on that staircase. Because your meaning is tied to the role. If the system threatens the role, you might just sell out your ethics to stay on the ladder.
The golden handcuffs. You keep the salary, but you lose the plot.
And you lose your why, your clarity. You start lying to yourself.
Okay, slide 10. Group C, transpersonal meaning, X3. And now we see a lighthouse on a rugged mountain.
Profiles 311 to 333. Here, meaning serves something way beyond the self.
But there's a counterintuitive truth here that I found really surprising. It says, high meaning does not guarantee happiness or safety.
Yeah, we have this myth that if you do what you love, the universe will protect you. This map says no. Group C has the wise sage, sure, but it also has the broken martyr.
Because if you care about something huge like social justice or the climate, you are going to collide with some very big, very sturdy systems.
Exactly. The higher your interrupt meaning, the harder the collision. To maintain your energy here, your Z, you need incredible discipline. You need a fortress, an S3 system, or you will burn out faster than anyone.
So passion isn't a shield.
Passion is the fuel. Systems are the shield. Don't confuse them.
So how do we misjudge these people? Slide 11, misreading the map, shows 2 icebergs. A warning about how we look at others.
On the left, the silent enlightened. You see this tiny tip of iceberg above the water lacquer low BESS. Visible energy. They look quiet. They're not posting their wins online.
But underwater, the mass is huge. High consciousness, strategic withdrawal.
This person isn't lazy. They're conserving energy. They are deep. They might be resting, planning, or just refusing to play the game.
And on the right, productive but empty. The iceberg tip is massive. High visible energy, lots of success.
But underneath, it's hollow, low meaning. They're an automaton.
And the lesson here. Never judge the quality of the soul solely by the volume of its output.
We worship the iceberg on the right. We reward noise. But this map asks us to look deeper. Silence can be a strategy, and busyness can be a void.
So how do we use this for ourselves? Slide 12 gives us the principle of fluidity. The formula is XYZS.
And the core message is that you're a traveler, not a statue. You don't take this test once and get a permanent score.
I love the examples. You may be a 233 at work, ambitious, energetic, but a 111 in your relationship, reactive, just surviving.
Or you could be a 333 today, but a sudden trauma could drop your Z to 1 tomorrow.
That's so important. If you get sick, your Z drops. It doesn't mean you lost your purpose. It means your battery died.
Exactly. And if you know that, you navigate differently. If your Z drops to 1, you stop trying to climb, you rest. You find a sanctuary. You don't scream at yourself for not being productive.
We're near the end of the atlas now. Slide 13 is a shield for ethics and the immune system. The rules of engagement.
Rule 1. Do not judge. Hierarchy is an illusion. An X3 person is not better than an X1 survivor. They just have different burdens.
Rule 2. No clinical diagnosis.
This is critical.
Yes.
Low Z can be biological. Depression, chronic illness. Don't spiritualize medical problems. Don't tell someone with clinical depression to just find their why.
They need a doctor, not a philosopher.
Their Z variable is mechanically broken. And rule 3, no hierarchy of worth. This isn't a tool to create a new caste system of enlightened people versus everyone else.
Right. If you use this to feel superior, you've automatically dropped your Y to 0. You missed the whole point.
You did.
Slide 14 gets a bit mystical. The map fades into a glowing infinity symbol. It's titled The Edge of the Map.
Every map has edges. This acknowledges the infinity variable.
Nonlinear leaps, radical love, sudden epiphanies, tragic accidents.
Right. The life map can capture structure, the logic of the path, but it can't capture grace. It can't explain why a tragedy struck out of nowhere. It's a moment of humility.
The map is not the territory.
The map is not the territory.
And that brings us to the final image, an honest orientation. It's just a person holding a compass, looking at it.
And the final truth here is that the goal shifts.
Yeah.
It's not about achieving a high score of 333. The goal is just radical honesty.
The question it poses isn't how do I get to the top? It's where am I and what is this system doing to my energy?
And that is the liberating question.
Yeah.
When you stop asking what is wrong with me and start asking where am I located, all the shame just evaporates.
You can look at your low Z and say, I'm exhausted because I'm in an S1 box, not I'm exhausted because I'm weak.
It turns burnout from a verdict on your character into just data.
Actionable data. So for everyone listening, I just want you to visualize those 3 axes for a second. Where is your meaning directed right now? Survival, ambition, or beyond? How clearly are you seeing things? And be honest, where's your energy battery at?
And then take a look at the box you're standing in. Is it a greenhouse? Or is it broken glass?
And remember, wherever you are on that map, you aren't the map itself. You're the traveler.
Keep navigating.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next one.